Matt, first off, how's the leg? How'd the surgery go? Everything?
Yeah, surgery went pretty well from what I was told. So no, just in recovery mode now.
Matt, I mean, injuries obviously can happen at any point, but like playing basketball, is that something that you kind of wish you hadn't done?
Well, yeah, if I had a crystal ball, I certainly wouldn't have played basketball. But it's one of the ways that this could have happened out on the field. It could have happened. I'm sure it was bound to happen, no matter what I was going to do. But like after a long work day, you got to get some exercise in, and we got a lot of guys on our staff that like to play basketball, and there's a gym right in Lambeau, so that's kind of been our routine in nighttime basketball, and especially when our family's been away, the guys that whose families haven't moved here and whatnot, we just get together and play some nighttime hoops, and unfortunately it happened. But
some of your players play like in their free time, like.
Yeah, hopefully this will be a lesson to them not to play basketball.
Coach,
how long do you think this is going to affect you out here in practice, from one, riding the golf cart, and two, just not being able to be as hands-on as we've seen you previously?
Yeah, no, it definitely had to adjust my routine, but that's why you have great assistant coaches, because we're all on the same page. We communicate all the time, and I kind of let them know, what the expectation is and whatnot. But yeah, it does throws a little wrench, a little curveball at us right now. But I think long term, you won't see any effects.
Do you think you'll have the cart most of camp, all of camp?
Oh, training camp? I don't know. We'll see. I'm just gonna take this day by day. I know I'm supposed to be off it for the next 4 weeks or so. Hopefully, I'll be back at least in a walking boot by training camp, and then it just depends. Even in the boot prior to the surgery, you can't get around the field as well as you'd like to. But I'm definitely not gonna let it creep in and create negative thoughts in my mind.
How did it happen, Matt? How did it happen?
I wish I could give you some crazy dunk story or anything like that, but we were playing on 10-foot hoops, and everybody knows I can't jump that high. So I missed a shot, and I went for a rebound, and as soon as I made that explosive movement that I was talking about, it felt like somebody kicked me, and there was nobody behind me. So I had a pretty good idea of what it was right away.
Well, and on your way then probably to get treatment, you must have thought, as much as I'd like to be with those players or in the huddle, frustration about that, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm just going to try to keep it as positive as mindset as I can, and use it as a teaching moment for our team, and hopefully that they'll realize, bad things can happen if you play a little hoop. But like I said, I think it could have happened out here on the field as well. So.
Your days are pretty full as is. How you fitting in rehab time? Is that adding to your, I don't want to say stress, but time management maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. I just had the surgery on Sunday, so I'm kind of still figuring everything out. But I do know that just with this injury, you better take care of it. Otherwise, it could haunt you for life. So I'm definitely going to make sure I take time to, incorporate some rehab. And I think I could do a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you, right from while I'm watching tape or doing whatever else I need to be doing.
Matt, we were asking you about how active you were a few hours before this.
I know.
So what was today like? And you also are a big believer in competition.
Right.
And that's what you and your guys were doing, having fun,
no doubt,
competing. So what was today like, and then how do you kind of get your competition fixed now that you're going to be laid up?
That's a great question, Jason. I think, today was not what I'd like to be doing. I'd like to be hands-on in the drills, and but again, I just got to adjust to it, make the best of it, and make sure that our communication's spot on in terms of the expectations of what we want to get done each and every day. But and then from a competition standpoint, in terms of not being able to go down there and play basketball a little bit, I mean that's brutal, because I don't know how I'm going to stay in shape.
Jimmy made a joke that he wanted to play you White Man Can't Jump. You guys played each other head on. Who's winning that?
I would definitely go with Jimmy.
Matt, have you had an injury that's
immobilize you like this, or is this all brand new to you? And
Totally brand new.
is it, like driving you nuts? You like said you like.
No, I mean, yeah, sure. If you let it drive you nuts, but I just try to keep the big picture in mind and and kind of keep my mind on whatever task is in front of us, and that helps just me forget about kind of what's going on. Sometimes I'll be sitting there doing something, I'm ready to get up, and then I realize, oh, I can't put any weight on my foot. So.
Man, what does the big picture look like? I mean, once you get the walking boot on, what do you expect it to look like this fall on the sideline?
Yeah, I think it's going to be just like you see any other coach. I know a few years back, remember when Sean Payton broke his leg on the sideline. I don't anticipate coaching from the press box or anything like that. I think as long as I handle my business and follow the doctor's orders, I don't foresee it being an issue come week one. That as far as limitations during the preseason, there might be some. You might see me on a boot or in a boot on the sideline, but like I said, I'm just going to take it one day at a time right now.
Was it Doc McKenzie or Doc Anderson?
Dr. Anderson, but McKenzie was right there, and so was Flea. So I had a good support system right there with me all the way.
Those more guys?
What did Bree say?
She just shook her head because now she always jokes around that she's got 3 kids at home, and now she really does, because last night she was, making me dinner in bed and making sure I was comfortable and whatnot. So it's going to be a strain on her, that's for sure.
Last week OTAs, how do you think your team's progress is so far?
Yeah, I thought, there's a lot of good things, and there's still a ton of room for improvement. I think, just the way we operate in and out of the huddle, I think it could be a little bit cleaner and crisper. And like I said, we don't have the full offense in quite yet, like as far in terms of the no huddle and whatnot. And I think from a defensive perspective, I love the communication that's going on. I feel like, especially with the amount of new people that we have in the system, I think everybody's done a really good job. And it starts with Pet, communicating what we need to get done. I feel like everybody's on the same page, and they're certainly presenting some challenging looks for the offense. And then you look at the special teams, and I think we're setting a solid foundation going into the fall.
Is next week any different at all as far as pre-camp, or is it going to be installing?
It's
going to look exactly.
It's going to look very, very similar to this. The practices might be just a touch longer, but I still want to get these guys. I just want to come in, get our work in, and then get them out of here, and then ready to roll for training camp.
Will you be installing next week, or is next week kind of review?
It's going to be mostly review. There could be a wrinkle here or there, but for the most part, like just throughout all the OTAs, we haven't really game planned against our defense, and I know our defense isn't necessarily game planning against our offense either. It's just more or less installing your system.
Matt, Jimmy had the nice catch down the field today. He said at his charity event some pretty confident things about how he fits in your offense. What have you seen from him so far this offseason?
Yeah, I think Jimmy's a pro. He's a perfectionist too, and he gets down on himself when he doesn't do it the right way. And that's one thing I've challenged him to, hey, listen, you're out here learning. Mistakes are going to happen. When they happen, everybody's looking at you. You can't blink. And that's just, I want him to keep a positive outlook, whether he's making a great play or he has to have a learning experience from not doing something quite right. But I'm really excited about him. I think he brings a lot of veteran, that veteran presence, especially to that room.